Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Danny J here for the DJB Productions Network. It is Capes Not Included. Make sure you hit that notification bell, hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments down below. We always want to hear from you. We have a great show tonight. We are live on Facebook. This is also live on the DJB Productions Network, which you can reach at djbproductionsnetwork.com. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. We want to make sure you get all the content that comes through. We're going to be talking about DC and everything that's going on. There's so much that's happening right now with Warner Brothers, Discovery, the merger, all the cancellations, James Gunn. There's so many things. We're going to tie it all into this show. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to who we got on this show. First and foremost, let's bring it over to my man, Jason Leach.
What's going on, good people? I miss y'all so much. It's been too long.
We got my man. He looks like a stalker, God forbid. I
feel like the Dark Avenger.
we got Kevin Rainey, the Dark Avenger. In a
hey, people.
Near you.
The fucking Strangler, the Reaper.
He's gonna
oh, wow. What's going on, people?
Join us tonight, a very special guest. He is the head and the leader of the MCU Bleeding Edge. He is my good friend, Jeff S., a.k.a. True Knowledge, in the house tonight on Capes Not Included. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Danny, you know what, brother? I think that is the first time anybody's ever actually done my my intro correctly. That's exactly how it is. No one has ever done it before. Jeff S., a.k.a. True Knowledge. That's simple. It's that simple.
I pay attention.
You know what? That is some serious professionality right there, my friend.
I pay attention to you, and I know what you do.
Hey, I like this dichotomy already, brother. We got fucking we got you hit like me with all your professionality. We've got Jason here for the levity. We've got the Strangler over here to fucking just look scary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There we go.
And then I'm here just to talk shit and fucking make things interesting.
Just make it interesting.
Nice.
Right. Well, what we're talking about tonight is the DC universe. There's so much going on, and it stems back to, and we're going to do a basic rundown of Warner Brothers, formerly owned by AT&T, and then selling it off to Discovery. So now it's Warner Brothers Discovery, and what Discovery did to come in, just like any business, and we all kind of know this kind of thing, when people come in, they had to take a ledger and say, all right, what am I dealing with? What am I working with here? And there was a lot of red on the ledger, of course, from movies that were not doing well. We'll get into it in a general sense. I don't think we need to rehash DC trying to catch up to Marvel and not doing stuff like that. I think we know what was happening. But Discovery had to go in and make some changes. They said, all right, what's not making money? And whatever's not making money, boom, it is off. All right, we're going to cut that. And we got to do this because we got to run this business and bring it back to what we need. Okay. So now what happens is movies and TV shows start getting canceled in a lot of different ways. The big one that hurt a lot of fans and was the Batgirl movie.
Yep.
That was going to be on HBO Max. Understand that. Like, it was one of those things where it was not going to be, by the way, Matt Sunner is here. And I'm going to add him in. There's Matt Sunner.
There he is.
Hey, Matt.
Greetings.
Full house, man. I'm loving it.
We got a full house here. Matt was jumping on. I appreciate it. You know, that's Matt Sunner right there. You see him? There you go. But basically what was happening was we had, they were saying, hey, we need to cut the fat. And apparently Batgirl just was not cutting it. It did not test well. Okay. It was not a money maker. Okay. And ultimately the decision came down to say, we're going to concentrate on theatrical releases And we're not going to make these movies just for HBO Max and just for subscribers and stuff like that, which is a smart move. If the movie was not going to do well, and the movie, like, because people were like, there was a lot of people who were saying, "Oh, well, what if the movie was 75 million to make? What if it made 100 million? It would have made a profit." Well, apparently, I have you have to assume that it's not just Batgirl; it's a number of things. By not showing the movie at all, it's a done movie that was created and made and done. By not showing it, they were able to do a tax write-off that I assume, along with combination of things, in the greater good, was more financially feasible than releasing that movie and trying to get peanuts out of the movie. All right. And quite frankly, personally, I don't need a Batgirl movie. I can give two shits about, just like I don't necessarily need a Dick Grayson movie. Okay. I don't need secondary characters. They're not that exciting to me. Okay. In the world of Batman, I don't need it. You know what I mean? In a sense. So I could see where that would have been a problem. Where I can kind of go with that would be, they had the Birds of Prey movie that they did a number of years ago, and they had to throw Harley Quinn in there because otherwise that movie was going to tank before it ever made to the movie theater. Okay,
Right.
You know what I mean? They had to put Margot Robbie in there, and guess what? She wasn't able to save it. It still wasn't that great of a movie, but it was a better movie than Black Adam, and we'll get to that in a second.
Wow.
Yeah, I that's my opinion. I enjoyed watching Black Adam, but the movie itself was not written well, and I see why people were like, "Oh, yeah, it was not a good movie." And it makes me feel bad for Dwayne Johnson because he, for 12 years, was lobbying for this movie, and it just was not happening. You know, it was just like, then he finally gets it, and it's like they do a shit job on it. So I feel bad about that.
Well, hold on, Danny. I just want to interject really quick. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you cut me off.
But listen, I saw Black Adam twice. I saw it a second time recently with my son while he was here for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I enjoyed it more the second time than I did the first time.
Best part of the movie, and guys, spoilers. Spoilers before we even say anything else, Jeff. Spoilers, because I'm not holding stuff back. By this point, if you haven't seen it, turn this video off.
Even Adam Smasher and the Wind Chick and everything and whatnot that you and I both like agreed kind of were useless. They grow on you a little bit when you see it the second time. They're actually they're not so bad. You know what I mean? Like, they're actually not so bad.
And I said this to Matt maybe, but it's like you go to the NFL and you cherry pick different players from different teams. Okay. And then to round off your team, you go to a high school and grab two high school players. That's what that seemed like to me. I had no need for Adam Smasher or
to me, it seemed like Adam Smasher, he only served one purpose, was to make himself look like a fool and give Hawkman somebody to rag on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
no, they had to fill out a whole team. They had to fill out the whole team.
But they could have filled out a whole team.
I would have rather see the Wonder Twins in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You ain't fucking
kidding. To be perfectly honest with you.
You're not kidding.
I guess when it comes to the Justice Society, I'm tired of piecemealing like the core team. Like, they did it in Black Adam. Stargirl had her certain JSAs, old school JSA that they showed.
Like
Man
and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, when the show first came on, they had all of them, but it's like you barely seen them because of it being on TV. But I would have preferred maybe they did a whole Justice Society movie and maybe incorporated Black Adam afterwards. But Black Adam should have always been in Shazam. That should have been his villain. That should have been his first villain that he fought.
I hear you. And you know what, though? Here's the deal. And I'll run through Black Adam real quick because I don't want to stay too long on it. Is that, first off, you go in and what's the name? the movie, and the reason why it was not well written is that like you get his origin in the very beginning in Gondak, right? And then you fast forward to like 2022 after you get his origin, and Gondak is like some like third world country, the way to make it seem like, and it's not. It seems very industrial, but they're under some kind of military rule of some sort, right?
It's the what do you call it? The
Intergang.
The Intergang that's connected to Darkseid.
Right, but like you don't really get into that to that level. All you get is that they're kind of pussies. This entire city, right? And all they need is one army to go in, and the U.S. is famous for coming into every country and fucking busting shit up. Why did you call us in there too to do that? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? And then Black Adam comes up, and like he has no basis behind his powers. You really don't get a great origin of him.
No.
You get his motivation 1,000 years ago, right? But you don't have a motivation now. Like, his shit's over, right? And
Right.
he wakes up and he's here, and then you get that freaking kid. There's that kid that's in there. He's like, oh, you need a catchphrase and blah blah blah. And why they had him on there, I couldn't stand him either. Okay. Mm-hmm. He was is Jeffrey or Jason jumped back and add Jason again. There you go, Jason. Jason, are you there? Jason's having problems. There he is. So, like, what happened in the Angel? So, but you get like this kid on there who's like supposed to be comic relief, and he's not. You know, he's telling Black Adam, "Oh, you need a catchphrase. You need this." He's very corny, the kid.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, please, somebody like, even if it's just like friendly fire, somebody kill him. Like, I want to hit that in the movie. Right? You know,
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just blow his fucking head off and be done with it, right? Because then Black Adam, who's badass, starts listening to this kid. And I'm like, no, you should not be listening to this kid.
You know what I was watching? You know what I was watching when I saw that? I was watching Terminator 2.
Yeah, in a way,
I
right?
was watching John Connor teaching the Terminator how to sound more natural.
Exactly. And
you know what the writing for Black Adam seemed like to me? There was a comic book early 90s, maybe late 80s, Justice League International. And it was like Shazam was on it, Batman was a leader, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, and they weren't serious. They were serious, but they had their little camp to it. And that's what put me in the mind of Black Adam. It was like, I'm serious, but I'm making these little offside jokes.
Right.
And to me, that's never been his character. I mean, depending on who's writing for him, like in a comic book, every so often you might have him say something, but he's always been serious.
Right.
You know what it kind of seems to me, and again, this is coming from just a casual fan, but it seems like the MCU does this great job of interjecting small comedic moments to remind you that you are watching something fun, and it should be it should have some element, whatever, it's almost kind of like natural, like what you would expect somebody to say in that moment.
Right.
If it's a little bit funny, whatever. And DC, it seems like they try and do the same thing, but it feels forced.
You're talking about authenticity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's like when it happens in the MCU, it's like something you could typically hear, like if it was the four of us sitting in a room talking about something, and suddenly somebody tries to break somebody's balls over something, some little quip, off the cuff. And it's like MCU, it seems like that happens and it flows and it feels right. It feels natural. It feels truly in the moment. DC, it feels like, this is where we throw in a haha moment. And it's like, no.
Well, why do you think
Exactly.
Marvel does so well? I mean, honestly, authenticity is something that is severely lacking in society and culture right now. This, like, at least in the U.S., like I'm assuming probably in all democracies across the world is pretty much the same way. Things like authenticity are just not there right now.
Right.
Like
Right.
they're rarities. It's like honesty, like
Well-
integrity. Like it's just these things are just like very. You're finding very select people that have these tangible qualities at this point. Luckily, I have all of them, so you know what I'm saying. Like I got it all, baby.
Oh, sweet Jesus! Now
You know, why can't DC? DC does an excellent job with their animated stuff.
oh, it's
Like,
amazing. Yeah.
There's actually Shazam versus Black Adam, and Superman is incorporated in it.
Yeah.
That whole cartoon I could have seen. I was like, damn, they could do this cartoon, but they couldn't do the movie like this.
The Constantine shit is dope as fuck too. All the Constantine stuff is really good.
Yeah.
You know, he's more interesting than Doctor Strange, I think. I mean, I prefer him than Doctor Strange because I like the hard drinking, fucking drunk, aspect to him and whatnot. You know what I mean? Is that kind of shitty attitude and whatnot. I like that vibe.
Well, the thing I had, the problem I really had about it too, like first of all, and just to get off of Black Adam, but like Black Adam himself was incredibly impressive, and like he had no reason to give a shit about anything that he was woken up for.
Well, Danny,
Right.
don't forget, not pay homage to Aldous Hodge that played Carter Hall Hawkman because he was fucking dope. And
He
to
was
go
the
to
best
Kevin's
part of that
point,
movie.
I think it was Kevin or whoever said that, or Jason that said that they should have just done a film with
On him.
just the Justice Society and
So
whatnot and
Justice
everything.
Society, and
If
that
they
would
would-
be like part of
Yeah,
Avengers.
if they would have just had Pierce Brosnan was fucking like unbelievable in that film.
Well, here's another thing.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got Dr. Fate, who's another great character,
Oh, he was
and-
great.
and-
He was
but-
outstanding.
but they kill him.
Yep.
They kill.
Yeah.
Once again, I said spoilers. They kill him in the movie. And
What's
like,
wrong
with the one-off movie?
I did not have enough time with him to give a shit that he died.
But you know what, though, Danny? It's a
And
good thing. Remember, what's wrong with going back to the days when you only have a one-off film and that's it? There is no
Right,
trilogy.
exactly. And why did Dr. Fate have to die, but yet that kid lived?
And here's the thing, and I know I mentioned this, Dan, when we were talking about this once before. Like
Right.
Dr. Fate, again, being a casual comic book superhero fan, I had never heard of Dr. Fate before.
Right.
And I
Wow.
love the character, and I'm sure part of it was because it was Pierce Brosnan, because I love everything he does. I'm just a major fan of his. But, it's like, oh, cool. I'm really digging this guy,
Right. Ooh,
And it's like, I would have been excited, like, Dan, as you're saying, they kill him off. I would have loved
Right.
to see some
Sorry.
more stuff down the line with him in it. And it's like, you gave me one of three, you had 5 heroes in this movie. And 2 of them weren't worth a shit. And the third one, that was worth a shit, you got rid of.
right.
And I'm
I
never
think
gonna
it would have
forgive
been
you
hard to follow
unless I see an
Dr.
origin
Fate movie.
story or some shit.
Well, you know what? Though,
Now you can
I got-
all you can ever do with Dr. Fate now is go backwards and give me an
Well,
origin.
first of all, with Doctor Strange being as popular and leading with the Multiverse of Madness, personally, although it would have been cool, it's just like we need to get the Wish version of Doctor Strange in here. I think it was a bad move to bring Doctor Strange in as a Justice League.
Dr.
Justice
Fate, you mean?
Society.
You mean
No,
Dr. Fate?
with Dr. Fate, right? Into the DC.
So what happens to Hawkman now? Is he gone? Is he just done? Like, is he fucking done? Like, did they not have a spot to put him in now or whatever and whatnot? Because
They canceled. They canceled his movie. I think. Well, it hasn't been canceled, but they're not sure if James Gunn is going to bring him into his
Who's
version
that?
of the DCU.
Who, Hawkman?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, Black Adam's done. And let's talk about that for a second, because James Gunn is the Kevin Feige of DC now. And he's got the ordeal to come in and say, hey, I need to do something with this. And what am I going to do? And some of the stuff has been out there that, like, he's not touching any of the stuff that he was involved in, but he's touching everything else. Or he's like, hey, nepotism. But I think to play devil's advocate, he knows what he's touching. So he's like, I'm not going to cancel my stuff yet because I think I did a good job with my stuff. It's
Right.
this other shit that I didn't have that I wasn't in control of, that I'm going to get rid of and start over with. So I kind of get that fact of saying, you know, hey, you know, why are you killing this, but you're not killing your own stuff? I think because he has control of his stuff. And if his stuff stinks for any reason, he can at least creatively make the changes. You know what I mean? Whereas the stuff that came before him he was not involved in, he has nothing to do with it. And quite frankly, because people are saying, hey, you're going to kill Henry Cavill is gone. Gal Gadot, for the most part, is gone. Ben Affleck is gone.
Right.
You know, everything that came, like basically the Snyderverse is gone. All right. But I personally think that's a good idea because it's a failed project. It is.
You know what? Me too. I was thinking that. I mean, cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he could bring something really fresh because I'm gonna be honest with you. To Joss Whedon butchered Justice League, I'm like, what the hell is this? The Zack Snyder, I did like, but again, it was like, it just felt like it was rushed. It gave us everything we wanted to see. It gave us Darkseid. It gave us Steppenwolf, but I would have loved to see that done a little bit better. The one character I really couldn't catch on to, and I like him. I couldn't. The Flash was just like lost to me.
He was not Barry Allen.
Yeah, he wasn't. It was it. No, I could have seen if they said Wally West Flash. Then yeah,
like maybe Wally West, if you want to have a jokester.
Yeah,
Wally West is known for being a jokester or a fool. But I did not need my Flash to be so ADD and like the guy's not on his Ritalin. That's what he seemed like to me.
right.
You know what I mean? That type of thing. And that was my problem with that. So I am all for that. I am all for just giving them one-off movies. They don't need team-up movies. I think the ship has sailed. I think the genie is not going to come out of the bottle again that it did for Marvel, for DC. I think we can just do one-off movies and be done with it.
Well, here's the thing. They're wondering or pondering if he's going to incorporate Matt Reeves' Batman into his new universe.
As of right now, the answer is no. And they said that. So the thoughts have been that they'll redo Superman in the same aspect and do like a year 2 of Superman. So we'll get a younger Superman in a sense.
I disagree. I mean, I understand, but I'm like,
looking to do. I mean, I think they're looking to get a different start off point. I think they want to erase any thought you're going to have of the Snyderverse.
Right.
Is what they're trying to do. It is a failed project, and I get that. I totally get that. You got to start from scratch. Robert Pattinson's Batman was decent. I thought his Bruce Wayne was bad. I thought the movie was a half hour too long, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Okay.
I think the movie was good. I love that he was a detective and brought us back to the detective roots in that Batman. Which
it was definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
It was. It really was. It was violent, and I needed it to be violent. I thought that, I thought that if any fool off the street, including the fucking stupid kid from Black Adam, could have picked out Bruce Wayne as Batman. So, you know what I mean? Like if anybody in that movie was Batman, it was Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? So that kind of I was like, all right, come on, dude. You got fucking 9 Inch Nails over here, fucking mooping around. You know what I mean? Like, he must be Batman. You know what I mean? That's Jeff runs the MCU Bleeding Edge. So Jeff, although follows stuff, he's more of a Marvel guy like I am. Jeff, as a basic, you're now James Gunn. What would be your thing to do to get the DC back on track?
Well, I mean, basically, from what I understand as of right now, like real time,
yes,
he already has said that he already has some projects formulated or whatever, like in his head as far as what where he'd like to go, like is to start off.
Right.
right? Now he could be talking about the stuff that he's already doing, like
Right.
like the Suicide Squad stuff or whatever, or what's his name, the Cena show, you could be talking about that.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, Peacemaker. Now, that stuff they're going to keep doing that.
Mhm.
They're going to keep doing that. I think that probably, if anything, for one thing, if it was me,
Yes.
I would go darker. Like I would go more adult orientated.
Yeah.
I think if with their genre, with their films, I would try to change. You got to try to adjust. You have to change from the Marvel model a little bit. You can't like just copy. They're not going to be the same thing. They're not going to try to copy and paste it. You got to do something to differentiate, right? What sold what sold me with the Batman to where like I was sold by the trailers was the fucking darkness of it.
Yeah.
Like there was like a seven vibe to it and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was violent.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the Batman I like. That like stomps motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, like is like pissed. He gets upset and like hurts people. And
well,
like like how Daredevil gets sometimes.
But you know what happened back? I didn't mean to cut you off. Back in the day, Batman 2 with the Michael Keaton, the second Batman movie, DC got so much backlash from families saying, "Oh my God, we didn't expect the Penguin to look like that. We didn't expect this. Batman was more violent." And I'm like, that's fucking Batman. Like, you can't like tease everybody. You can't, what do you want us to do? Like, we're putting a character out there, and this is how he is. And sorry if your kid got a little squeamish in a movie theater.
Right, exactly.
No, but Danny,
if you want family friendly, go ahead, buy the 1960s series on DVD and watch that.
Exactly. Danny, I'll put it around to everybody in the panel. When I saw the Suicide Squad film that Gunn did, I thought that was the best thing I'd seen from DC, fucking like other than the Snyder Cut in years. You know what I'm saying? That was a fucking. I mean, don't get me wrong. Danny knows this. Danny knows this. Matt knows this. I like more adult fare. Like that is like kind of my thing. I like House of the Dragon and shit like that. I like the HBO series kind of stuff. I like more serious type stuff. I like Andor because of that reason. Andor is great. Shameless plug. We're doing Andor episode 9 on Wednesday night, folks, on the Bleeding Edge, 9:35 p.m. Eastern. But no, Suicide Squad, like just to hit all the best spots, man. It was funny. It was humorous. Yeah. It was funny. The fucking it was violent, right? Like it was fucking stupid. Like I mean, and then there was like just a straight titty shot at one point, just random titty shot and whatnot. Who the fuck does that anymore, man? That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that shit. People appreciate that. Men appreciate that shit. We need that like in our movies. So I'm just saying. What did you guys think? Was the Suicide Squad film like the first film, the first DC film you saw that like actually fucking like brought you back to the DC besides Snyder Cut?
You know what? I like the second Suicide Squad better than I like the first.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be honest with you.
Well, the first one was garbage, I thought.
Oh, it was, yeah.
It was garbage. Now, if I'm going to say in DC, what movie did I like? Wonder Woman was the best one.
The first Wonder Woman movie? It's great.
Great
first
movie.
One. Yeah, that 1984 shit. It
was horrible.
It should have stayed. It should have stayed in 1984.
And poor Gal Gadot, man. I thought the entire DC thing was on her shoulders.
I'm never watching it. I refuse.
What,
I've heard
84?
too many bad things. I'm not watching it.
Don't bother watching 84. But the first one was amazing, and I thought that was the best movie DC did.
I'm not watching Morbius. I'm not watching Morbius either.
Morbius was great. Shut up. I don't care what anybody says.
Morbius was a pretty good freaking movie. I was surprised.
And I got news for you guys. It was better than Black Adam.
Wow.
Yes, it was. Kevin,
although, again, since we're bringing up Black Adam again, the wife and I, we saw it in the theater, and at the end, I mean, she really enjoyed it.
Let's not to cut you off, Matt. It was a fun movie to watch.
It was entertaining. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. And she said, "Well, what'd you think?" I was like, "It was good." It was like one of those things where it's like I didn't feel like that I wasted my money seeing it in the theater, but it was like, okay, now that I've seen it, Okay, I've seen it.
If I'm going to describe it,
No,
Matt,
don't need to watch it again though.
Matt, you sat there and said it was like watching T2. Okay.
Yeah.
If you took Terminator 2 and then edited out all of Edward Furlong's scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and then edited out all of Sarah Connor's scenes, right?
Mhm.
And the only thing you were left with was Arnold Schwarzenegger being the Terminator. Now, granted, it would be probably a 35-minute movie.
Yeah.
But that's what Black Adam was. It was
Yeah.
like take out anything of substance and then just put it in there. And then that's it. That's what we get. Hawkman was the best part of that movie. And that guy
Yeah, he was.
He was the best part of that movie.
And guess what? I was like, oh, that's not my Hawkman. But then, like, the guy, he pulled it off.
Oh, he pulled it up big time.
His relationship with Dr. Fate was good too.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That movie.
To put it out there, Jason Leach is trying to get back on the show so bad, and his connection's really bad. So I do feel bad for those who are watching for Jason. He's trying to get on desperately. But go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I mean, besides the known characters that's in it, we were saying like that movie could have actually been like we were saying how bad it is. That movie could have like just not had Black Adam. It could have just been a random hero type guy in that movie. You know what I mean? It is because we know who the character is. We know Hawkman.
But they could have instead of Cyclone and what was that other guy? Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
Instead of those two douchebags, right? Now somebody made a joke about saying I'd rather see the.
They weren't that bad. They weren't douchebags.
Jeff, they were horrible. They were horrible.
They were okay.
I mean, Adam Smasher, he's like going in there and like you introduced to him in the movie as like basically it's like, oh well, you know, what was his father or his grandfather was originally the Adam Smasher or something like that.
Henry Winkler,
kinda,
his uncle.
His uncle.
It was his uncle.
It was his uncle, whatever. So he's already kind of like, well, I'm not even sure how I can do. What am I doing here?
Right.
You know, it's almost a character you're expecting at some point somebody to kind of, you know, believe in him more than he believes in himself and raise him up. But all you get the entire movie is him screwing up and Hawkman being like, boy, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yo, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's like, one more time. Me and you.
If I had been in his spot, if I had been in Adam Smasher's position, right, with
Yes.
dude, the wind chick was fucking feeling him no matter how stupid he was. Yo, I would have smashed that chick quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, in between, like, jumping out.
You know what the thing is, Jeff? I would have rather seen you, Jeff S. True Knowledge, in that movie, just hitting on Cyclone for about 5 minutes of a scene, and then cut the rest of her shit out.
Bro, I don't hit on women. I hit that shit.
I think your power of persuasion would have been better than Adam Smasher being Ant-Man light in a DC movie.
You don't want me. They don't want me. You don't want to put me in a movie, man. I'm telling you right now. I
would have put you in a movie, but I'm just not going to get it filmed anywhere.
Well, I do want to give you props. I want to give you props for doing that intro when you guest moderated on my show. And you did the fucking the Gyno Man.
Gyno Man.
That was classic.
Jeff's secret identity.
My alter ego. One of my alter egos.
He comes from the planet Vagina, and he's like he comes down to this earth, and he's Gyno Man,
world renowned gynecologist.
And I did it.
You gotta be kidding me.
I did it in the voice of Ted Knight.
Yeah,
doing the Justice League intro from the
I was so good at my job, I was detrimental to society.
I was like, Gyno Man.
I had to step back for the good of society. You know what I'm saying? Marriages are all everywhere. I had to step back.
It was fantastic. And I would have rather have seen that movie. I would have loved to have seen Gyno Man versus Black Adam.
Well, hey, I'm still taking my Phoenix Online courses to be a Tuscan translator too. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still fucking with the Tuscans. I'm going to Tatooine every other couple, weeks or whatever, whatnot, checking in.
You know what I'm saying? A hell of a drug, I'm telling you.
Kicking in with the Tuscans, you know what I'm saying? Getting after it. Of course, I had Miss Marvel's butt double come in and step in for me. I didn't do that with that thing, that moment there where we had to run through the desert and shit, whatnot that night to get that stick. I had Miss Marvel's butt double come in and jump in for me on that.
I'm watching my subscriptions drop as we speak.
I couldn't handle that. I just jumped in for the stick part. I just grabbed the stick real quick. I just had, whatever. But
So-
no, Dave, to answer your question, what I think that Gunn should do,
What was my question? I don't even...
what I think Gunn should do is what he's doing right now.
Yeah, we lost that a while ago.
What I think Gunn should do is what he's doing right now. Get
Yes.
ahead of this shit now.
Yes.
Clean house right now. Get it out of the way and whatnot, and get the backlash out of the way and fucking deal with it now. So you can take the brunt of it right now. People will just forget about it after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Give
saying?
us an old school Justice League.
As
You
long,
know what
as-
tell me if you guys think about this. I would love to see them do DC. Like I say, a series of movies. It could be leading up to a Justice League movie.
he's
You know,
gonna
but like I said,
reset
but-
everything. He's gonna reinvent
but
the
I
whole
would
thing.
love to see this in noir. Think about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I would like to see it like a period piece, noir.
Wow.
Like think about that for a second. Almost like remember it was a crappy movie. It was what was that movie that was done by the guys that did 300 and did Sin City? It was The Spirit. Remember The Spirit?
Oh yeah, The Spirit. That was I like that movie.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I would love to see like DC do their pieces as a noir piece. Almost like how they did Sin City in a way. I would love to see it like
make it look like a living graphic novel.
Yeah, I think that would be impressive with the characters that they use. I think if they go back to the Justice Society and use like you said, Kevin, like the characters they use from like Stargirl and stuff like
You
that.
can't do that across the span of an entire set of like films. You can't connect films and whatnot with that
They're
same
losing
noir
money left and
genre.
fast. They might as well. What the hell else are they going to do?
We'll be 99 years old if they did a movie like that. We'll be like, yeah, I'm still waiting for it.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think honestly, I think if I was DC fans, look, I'm a DC fan. I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not as like Danny said, I'm not DC knowledgeable at all. I mean, I read some Superman comics and Batman comics as a kid. I'd like to get back and like maybe pick up the Frank Miller, Dark Knight series and whatnot. Maybe read that if I could get it, from whatever DC app that has comics or whatever, whatnot, like Marvel Unlimited or whatever I have.
Right.
I wouldn't mind checking that out. I've heard it's really good. I'm thinking about maybe like reviewing like some of the Batman animated stuff and whatnot just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, Gunn's going to clean slate. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do as far as like this whole Lobo deal where they're going to, Momoa's going to, they're going to play out, they're going to do Aquaman 2, then they're going to throw Momoa into Lobo. Like, I don't know about all that. I mean, all I know is there's going to be a new Superman. They're going to have another actor, a new actor.
Yeah.
They're going to build, he's going to come up with a team. He's going to build a new team, new actors, new characters.
I don't think they need a team.
They don't have to have a team, but at the same time, overall,
Guys, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
No, I just think that DC fans should be optimistic. I would be. Gunn is no joke.
Gunn knows what he's doing, and what people don't understand, and I think I get this if you read between the lines, is that Gunn, like I said earlier in the show, is dealing. He knows what he created. And says, all right, I'm going to put you in this box over here, and I'll deal with whatever's good, bad, or indifferent after I deal with this big set of shit that I got to deal with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, once he makes it all under the James Gunn umbrella, then I can pick and choose and stuff like that. Like, so people are saying, hey, you're doing a lot of nepotism. You're not touching your own stuff. You're only touching that stuff. That's because he knows what he's dealing with over there. All right. And I think, honestly, his bigger the attention needs to be put to the majority of the problems, which unfortunately was the Joss Whedon, the Zack Snyder universe, unfortunately, because it went like this. It branched off into so many different ways and didn't need to. There was no direction. And a lot of that has to do with Warner Brothers / AT&T, okay? Now that Discovery's in there, they're making financial decisions to say, hey, whatever's not making money, we need to get rid of it. They're no longer going to make movies for HBO Max directly. Okay. Hence why, like, once again, Batgirl was taken out. Okay. That didn't test well anyway, but doing a movie directly for HBO Max in comparison to not concentrating on theatrical releases, which now it's okay to go back to the theaters. We are past pandemic. So therefore, Let's make the money again. Let's make box office money again. I see what they're doing. It makes sense. And James Gunn hitting the reset button and saying, all right, let's start from the beginning. I already know what I'm going to do over here with my stuff. And let's face it, he doesn't have much stuff that he had in touch with. The only thing he did was Suicide Squad, in a sense. Okay. So, and Peacemaker. So there wasn't a lot that he did. Let's face it. All right. So now, redoing the big guys, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. That in itself, it's like, all right, let me do one-off movies of each. Let me start them off. Let's get them great. Maybe he's going to go the route of Robert Pattinson, and here comes Jason.
Oh man, finally.
Yeah, finally.
Back on the scene.
Yeah, the show's over. Now, but like, I think that's where he's going to go. But me personally, if I was going to, I definitely would hit the reset. I think we all agree hitting the reset button is the exact thing to do. But for me personally, I would love to see it in a noir sense, done as a graphic novel, as Kevin and Matt said. Make it like almost like Sin City in a sense, like that Frank Miller-esque type of look. I would love to see the DC universe in that, because I think that would make it so different from Marvel that it would give me an alternative to go see. Because as of right now, the DC movies look like a wish list of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
agreed.
Because they're just playing catch up. You know what I mean? And not that I don't like DC, but I don't like it as much as Marvel, because I think Marvel, in my eyes, is just a more relatable characters in a sense. But I think if you made that such a noir type of thing, I loved Sin City, and I think the DC universe would benefit so well from that being like a graphic novel type of thing. But once again, we're not going to get that.
It needs to be not only different content, but it needs to be visually different from Marvel.
Oh yeah.
It needs to have such a different feel when you look at it.
Yes.
Like you said, and make it really stand out. And you can, because then too, at least if you're, even if it fails, at least you did your own shit.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs its own identity.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
Yeah.
But one thing
right now,
I want them to do,
they're succeeding or failing based on what Marvel's doing,
right?
Instead of succeeding or failing on what they are doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think honestly, like I think everybody relies so much on technology and CGI and all this stuff. I would love to see them take a step back and just do practical effects, and just story driven, not visually driven.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Aquaman was absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry. Aquaman was terrible. It was all such overdone CGI that.
Well, that movie was done under the aspect that women are going to want to see Jason Momoa.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
And then Black Panther came out, right? So around that time, they were like, "Oh well, shit! If they can make Wakanda look like that, we can make Atlantis look like this." So,
right.
It was like, all right, it's a pissing match. Who can put out better? Who can put out a better? Like
Kevin, you being a huge comic book fan, aren't comic books like that? DC and Marvel have been pissing matches for decades.
True.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? So that's par for the course. But I think in this visual market, we just need different stuff. Now, moving on a little bit, the CW, which was host of the Arrowverse, that was actually sold off. They didn't. The Discovery, Warner Brothers Discovery, did not keep that.
Right.
And so now, after season 9 of The Flash?
That's it.
That's it for the Arrowverse, man. Say goodbye to it. Quite frankly, it's funny. Like, I love Flash and stuff like that, but Flash has been off for a number of months now, and we're leading up into season 9. And quite frankly, if it didn't come back on, I wouldn't give a shit.
I want to finish it. I want to see.
Oh yeah, I do.
But
like last season was like crappy. Season before was a lot crappier. And I think the problem is, and we're older, So we had one-off episodes when we watched the show.
Podcast.
Like if you go to back to the 90s Flash, right? The 90s Flash was an episodic series.
Right.
Okay. So it didn't matter when you jumped on, you saw an individual Flash episode. I think the problem with having this like storyline, which is obviously the big thing of all shows nowadays, is that if the season's bad sucks, your whole season is blown for that fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I don't give a fuck about that. What was the Indian guy that was a blood dude? You know what I'm talking about? It was like season 5 or 6. He was an Indian doctor. He was friends with the
I know.
boss.
Yeah.
And he was like some kind of blood dude, and he turned into blood.
That season like was just boring.
Boring as hell.
Couldn't
And he sucked as a bad guy, and like I wasn't sympathetic, nor did I hate him. Like when you drive no emotion from me, other than me turning the channel, it got to be that watching these shows was as energy taking as going to a job.
You
know,
and Dan, one thing you said, like, in the old days we had, it was an individual, like you could jump in no matter where you jumped in, you knew exactly where it was because it was a new problem every week, but like in this whole like episodic, like this, you'd almost wish that what they would do is they would figure out like, okay, we're going to do X number of seasons.
Right.
We know where we're going. We know how this is going to end, and have everything build up to that end.
Yeah.
So certain things kind of come in, kind of go out. You have, you have like your main antagonist, but you have smaller ones kind of, piddled in. You know what I mean? But there's a definite, beginning, middle, and end, and it is telling a true story arc over a matter of seasons, and you're just waiting to see how it's going to end. Well, instead of, like you said, having a new bad guy every season, you need to have a new bad guy every episode, or you got to have this is the story of how this hero matches up against this villain and their epic struggle.
Every one of these heroes has enough bad guys in their rogue gallery.
Well,
Daniel, I was about
to face on that. Yeah. With the Flash, they never really did a Captain Boomerang's like three episodes. They never did. Well, they did the Mirror Master, which I
didn't like that at all.
Captain Boomerang.
The Mirror Master one was so boring.
Captain Cold and the Heat guy, they wound up becoming legends, and I'm like, what y'all doing?
They made them good guys. Yeah, they made them good guys of all things. Like Grodd, they had and I don't mind if they did like a 3-episode bridge. Like that's cool.
I like the Grodd. I like the Grodd.
Grodd was good. I like that. I would like to have seen him go to Gorilla City.
Yeah, thank you.
Really, right? And get with that because Grodd is actually a very interesting character.
He is.
You think about it. I would have liked Toyman. I would have liked, just like the problem is like, we say make it dark and stuff like that, but also like take yourself a little bit seriously. Don't like you almost get in the back of your mind of like, hey guys, I know we're writing this and make it good, but like nobody really gives a shit about these characters. That's what you kind of get in the back of your mind that these guys are writing. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. Why the fuck not?
They tried to do back in the day, like when Flash first came out in his comics, or like the old school Flash.
Yeah.
You ever see that comic where you see a Flash on the cover, but then you see Elongated Man?
Yes.
You see all different heroes, and then it seemed like they tried to do that because they tried to incorporate different heroes, different villains, different team ups, different crises, and it was like, I'm feeling it a little bit because they're giving me what I've always wanted to see, but they're not giving me what exactly I definitely want to see.
I think I would have been happier to have a Justice League or a Justice Society on television and leave the movies for one-offs.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I think I would have been happier with that. Some of the shows, like one of the shows that is somewhat surviving, but I think is going to be gone after the next season, is Superman and Lois.
I like that show.
And I like that show a lot. Tyler Henderson, I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He's really good as Superman. He's a really good Superman. The woman that plays Lois, she was on the TV show Grimm.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever watch Grimm?
Yep,
She's a great actress as well. But the kid that plays Jonathan Kent, the blonde son, he quit the show.
Right.
So he's not coming back for season 3 or 4.
They recasting.
They recasted him. I'm like, you know what? Just kill the show. Kill the shit. Kill the kid. Kill the show. Line him up with the kid from Black Adam and execute him fucking like execution style.
Really?
I fucking hate that kid, dude. Oh my god.
I can tell.
Can't stand that kid. Can't stand him at all. Like, if anything, that kid should have turned out to be the big bad of Black Adam. Like, it turns out, like, at the end of the day, he's the demon. And then we go, oh, I'm sorry, lady, you gotta kill your brother. He was annoying anyway. I know you're not gonna give a shit.
Let's put it this way, especially with again, and we keep getting back to Black Adam, but I mean,
know.
it's like the way they portray him in the beginning. Is you'd think like as soon as he sees that kid, the first thing he would do is just punch that kid straight in the face and like decapitate him.
Out of everybody that he wakes up and destroys, the kid would have been the first one I would have squashed his head.
Yeah.
I would have squashed his head like a mosquito.
Instead of him being all like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Where am I at? He's just been like, what the
Black Adam, if you get like how angry he is and where he came from, first of all, coming out of 1,000-year slumber, he should have been very disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
And not know or give a fuck about what's happening in Gotham.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
First of all. Secondly, the kid should have been squashed. I would have been the first one I would have killed is that kid and then killed the army guys. Because that kid would have been like,
I just want to point out right now.
Thank you, Jeff. I forgot you were on the show.
I just want to point out that this very interesting dichotomy, the difference between me and Danny and how things are on the bleeding edge and here. Right. He's over here talking about wanting to kill this fucking kid over and over again and whatnot. Like for beating this kid up and shit and whatnot and everything, right? And like I don't really like sit around and like, talk about violence and like beating up kids and shit during my shows. But at the same time though, I do end up with creators that fucking cross the lines with me and shit and whatnot on shows.
Yeah.
I call them on the phone or like I fucking get them on the messenger and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna choke you. I choke you right through the fucking screen if I could, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I mean it. Like I'd choke you the fuck out right now. If you ever fucking like step to me like you did during my show, like face to face, man to man. Like I'd fuck you up, kid.
I mean,
I'm
not trying to kill people.
That's the only difference, Danny, is between me and you, Bryce, that you're over here like, I'm over here wanting to straight beat up other creators.
I'm just saying, as a writer, I would write the kid's demise very graphically, and I would have a good FX guy to make it look really, really good. That's all I'm saying. Like Jeff is like, I like that. Jeff's very nice with his show. Like he's like,
would it be like
this? I like that. Like Kamala Khan from Ms. Marvel. I hated the show. I hated I hated her as a character.
You know
I
what?
wanted her to die in the show.
Wait a minute.
I wanted multiple people to
That's
die in
bullshit.
that show. But as a real life person, I said, the girl's really charming. Like if I was a young kid, I would be kind of falling for that girl because she's very charming.
Well, the actress is above age, so she's actually legit. She's fucking. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I get it.
You know what
I'm
saying? But no. The Miss Marvel series. I'm sorry, but the Miss Marvel series was the best, most well produced of the 3 Disney Plus series that came out.
It was good.
It was the best one. It was the most consistent from episode to episode compared to Moon Knight. Moon Knight was just from episode 3. It was a shit show. They removed fucking. There was no Moon Knight. They took Khonshu out. You know what I'm saying? I love Khonshu. You know what I mean? Like what he brought to the table. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they took it, and there was no Moon Knight.
I was upset with Moon Knight. I thought that, and we said it before. I thought that what we got would have been good for a season 2, not a season 1. Ms. Marvel, I just don't like the character. So that's me. That's my own bias. I just don't like the character itself. I think she gets thrown down your throat. Like everything she represents is like crap. You know what I mean?
I thought the actress did a really good job portraying the character. I think she did.
No, if I take myself out of my dislikes, I thought yeah, she did. I thought the show was done.
The finale was good.
Well,
It wasn't anything exciting, but it was okay, right? A lot of Disney Plus finales aren't usually very good. Look at Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I thought that show was good though.
The finale was a little rough. It was a little.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, they took too long to get to the point where he became Captain America.
Yeah,
a little bit earlier.
A lot of people hated the finale of WandaVision. A lot of people really didn't like that. They had a problem with it. I thought it was okay, but
you know what though? I think when you're starving, you shouldn't worry about what fucking cracker you're eating. Bottom line.
You know what's interesting, folks, from an MCU standpoint? When you think about it, we got the same amount of like when we're going to do our ranking shows here soon. Yeah. We're going to have the same amount of releases from the MCU this year that we got from last year. We're going to end up, if you add Morbius, we'll end up with 9 to rank with, right, for the year. It's the same as last year. We had 9. We had Venom made our 9.
Yeah.
There was 8 actual MCU properties that came out, 3 Disney Plus shows, 3 films, and then just the Werewolf by Night.
I mean, and even though, and you're right though, even though like Venom and Morbius are not MCU property, they are crossover properties in a sense. You can count them. That is true. With DC, I think the problem is they're getting rid of everything. And they're getting rid of, and like they even like Kevin mentioned earlier, I think that the animated movies are above and beyond, and they are. They do such a great job. DC does such an amazing job, and I wish Marvel would do Marvel movies. I wish they would, because Avengers 1 and 2, I thought were great. I liked the Doctor Strange animated movie. I liked. What was the other one that was really, really good? Iron Man, the original, not talking about the anime one, but the Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
that came out when Doctor Strange. I thought that was really good. So they had the potential to do really good animated movies. I think they're just like saying, hey, you know what? When we're driving a Cadillac, we don't need to drive a Buick right now. And I get it. I totally get it.
Hey, but you know what? But to be honest with you, I'd rather drive a nice Buick than a shitty Cadillac.
See, we can't talk about Cadillac. My wife got a Cadillac.
And I used to drive a Buick. So I mean, like, yeah.
But you know, like I say, man, you know, if you're driving a top of the line Buick and it's in great shape, and you know your Cadillac is a mid '80s Cetera that's rusted out and on its last leg, give me the Buick all day long.
Yeah, but you know what? That's also like saying I drive a Pinto, but I painted it like Starsky and Hutch's vehicle. So therefore, like, whatever. I mean, whatever makes you sleep at night. I don't know. Wow. But guys, let's go around real quick. Do we agree with everything that's happening with DC? Because that seems to be like the big uproar amongst fans and stuff like that, is that they don't like what they're doing. They do like what they're doing. I'll start with Kevin. Do you like with the way DC is now going to be doing things? The whole thing with Discovery, James Gunn, everything.
I would have preferred that they didn't pull a lot of stuff. Like, I think they pulled Titans, and I was like really getting into the Brother Blood storyline.
Right.
Did
they pull that? They pulled that too.
They're the season 4 episode part 2. They're not sure if they're putting it back on HBO Max yet.
Oh, gotcha.
So the whole thing with that is, if they like, I'm dying it like what, next year or January he makes his announcement what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to base it off his announcement and then pick it apart from there.
That's a good idea.
I agree. If you're going to do it, just start fresh, revamp everything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not on board with this younger version of Superman, because I think, do we really need to see Superman in the beginning? Like, I think every movie did Superman in the beginning, maybe not at the level where he can't fly yet, or I just think it's done. I mean, I think it's been done now. Because I think somebody or I read something, I think they're trying to do the Max Fleischer type Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm on board, not on board. I'm like torn. It's just
right.
I'm just going to wait till his announcements and see what he says. What he's going to do. and it might be the boost that DC needs from because they really need a shot in the ass.
Right. Yeah. And just to capitalize on what you said about Titans, I'm a Doom Patrol series guy. I love Doom Patrol. That show just like hit me really hard, and I love it. And you know, pour my proverbial drink down for Swamp Thing, which was the best written show that DC did. Swamp Thing was 100% the best show that they did. I don't know if you get a chance to try and watch it. It's not on HBO Max. You might have to try and pirate it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but Swamp Thing, DC Swamp Thing,
yeah,
amazing
I agree.
show. Okay, Matt, what do you think, Lord Matt?
Yes,
of the ass bush.
Yes.
Fucking guy.
You know, I think right now, like everything else has been just so hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think you do. Like the only thing left to do is just toss it and start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and again, whether it ends up being good or ends up being bad,
yeah.
As I said earlier, you know, you succeed or fail on your own merit. You know,
right.
Get rid of the stuff that's you know has so many things where it's like, yeah, this was kind of good, but it was kind of bad. You know, you know, get rid of all the ho hum. You know,
right.
Unfortunately, I think they're getting not having like say Henry Cavill as Superman. I kind of liked him.
Right.
I felt he really looked the part. I really believed him as Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't believed
Right.
somebody as Superman that much since Christopher Reeve.
Well, Tyler Hoechlin or whatever his name, he's a damn good Superman.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, overall, but so I mean,
I do like him
parts.
a lot.
I think I'll miss with them scrapping a lot of the stuff and and starting fresh. But at the same time, too, sometimes that's just the best thing. That's the best thing to do. So that's kind of where I'm at on it.
Jason Leach, what do you think, pal?
I'm not extremely happy. Like I thought they were on the right track with where they were going with the multiverse and how the Flash movie was supposed to be. We'll see how that turns out. But you know, I'm at the point now where if this James Gunn thing does not work, I'm out. I'm not following DC movies anymore. You know, I'll just stick to the comics, whatever. But yeah, this is kind of the last shot. If they don't get it right, I'm checking out. Honestly.
I hear.
Because you can like I've said before. Right? Sorry. Like before, like Marvel's been killing it for like what 12 years, and like
20 years.
20. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But like they're killing it with like 5 movies a year, but now with Disney Plus, you're adding series into it and all that stuff, and they're killing, okay, once in a while you hit something that you don't like, okay, whatever, you move on to the next project. But I mean, for the most part, they've been killing it, but I don't know why DC can't get their shit together. That's just my 2 cents.
Right. Jeff S., True Knowledge, host of the MCU's Bleeding Edge. What is your take on all this?
What is the actual premise of the question? Just where do I think this is going to go?
Jeff, have you been on the show for an hour? No,
I have.
No, what I was asking you, do you fucking think, you jerk off?
Go good,
do you fucking think that everything that's happening with James Gunn, with the DC merger, with the cancellations and everything like that, is this or is this not a good move in your eyes?
It's a good move. It's got to be good.
There you go.
Gunn's good. Gunn, I think Gunn's talented. He's not like a one-off or some shit like that. Whatnot. I think he's consistently delivered and proven that like he can make quality films. He's very creative and whatnot and everything, right? And they're giving him a shot. They're giving him an opportunity, right? And that's the American way, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Give a motherfucker a chance, baby.
And you know what? James Gunn has proven not only that he was able to actually, because it was a contractual thing, he was able to go back and forth and do well with both properties. Like he didn't like go off and do a crappy movie for DC or didn't do a crappy movie for Marvel real quick, and then like to fulfill my contract. You know what I mean? Like he's really good. So I think I do have, and working under Kevin Feige, and I guess maybe getting the creative freedom that he was able to get under Marvel, I would think would hopefully give him an idea of a direction that he wants to go with DC. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of like, I think restarting is the thing to do. Just like get rid of, there's a stigma with what's out there. And I think you're always going to compare unless you restart from the beginning.
Right.
In all honesty. And I think that's the thing. I mean, guys, I once again, we've been talking about this for an hour. DC, what the fuck? We don't know. I hope you do some good things. I hope you change everything that we're going to see, and make this something that will make us want to go, and not sit there and say, "Oh, it's not a Marvel movie." I want to say, "No, it's a DC movie.
Exactly.
It's something different. And it's
Yeah.
something different. I need it to be different." You know what I mean? And I am supporting the cancellations. I am supporting the starting over. I am supporting saying, you know what? Let's move to a new neighborhood and start fresh.
Right.
You know, and so on and so forth. So, guys, this was a great panel. I want to thank Kevin for like interrupting his stalking time in the parking lots.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
gotta go fight
fantastic.
crime or stalk somebody, so I gotta
You
sign out.
know, yeah. I know. He's got prostitutes to take care of over there. Matt, for jumping on, I appreciate that. I think Jason, unfortunately, you had some computer difficulties there, but it's always a pleasure to have you on. And I love having Jeff S. on, aka True Knowledge, host of the MCU's Bleeding Edge. You can check them out on Facebook. You can check them out on YouTube. He's on all podcast formats as well. You're doing a show tonight, Jeff?
I'm gonna be working on the OnlyFans channel for the MCU's Bleeding Edge tonight a little bit.
Okay. So you got some stuff coming out, and you got.
Yeah.
Do you have anything particularly coming out?
Yeah, man. I mean, well, you know, fuck yeah, I'm doing a show, man. You've already got me all lit up and whatnot and everything and ready. Like, I want to, like, you know, like live now, so I'm already here. I'm gonna do a Bandmaid fucking special and shit and whatnot, and jam out a live stream and just listen to Bandmaid songs and react and throw some fucking random links out to some friends and shit and whatnot, and see if they want to pop on and jam with me and whatnot. You know how I do it. But now we're doing Andor on Wednesday nights. We got 4 episodes left. Andor's fucking great. Obviously we had to delay the start of reviewing it because of the hurricane down here.
Yes.
And then, you know, of course, we're doing Willow on Fridays, which is kind of a shit show. I won't lie. Yeah, the show kind of sucks. I mean, it's Disneyfied as fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's totally woke. Like, it starts right off with like a lesbian woman scene, like to start the fucking first episode. Like, you know, like, so it's hard to take it serious, but
yeah,
you know, like, but hey, my co-host wanted to do it and whatnot and everything, so we're covering it. And hey, whatever. And then on Sundays, all the way through January, we're doing a Phase 5, Phase 6 MCU preview.
Cool.
Everything we're unraveling everything from like the Marvel Studios Comic-Con panel from San Diego Comic-Con 2022.
Very fat.
Probably gonna do a full fucking 2-hour show just on Loki season 2, baby.
So guys, buckle in and check out the MCU's Bleeding Edge with my friend Jeff S., aka True Knowledge, because I know what his banner is. I know who he is. Guys, wonderful time. Go down and hit that subscribe button if you're on the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell. Share it if you would to anybody that might not have seen the episode tonight. Leave us some comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about DC, about what's going on. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you have any kind of suggestions for James Gunn? Not that he's going to be watching the show and actually give a shit about what you're saying, but I care. I personally care. I'm not James Gunn. I don't have his money. I can't even like buy stuff in a vending machine, let alone have James Gunn money.
He's got a hot wife.
And he's got a hot wife.
Yeah.
You know, James Gunn's got his wife in a couple of different projects. My wife's trying to get on stuff. I'm like, no, you're not getting on this shit. Stop. I work with professionals. And then I fucking put Matt on, which is funny.
Yeah, I know, really.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but
Pull it
He
there.
doesn't watch any of my stuff. I can say whatever the hell I want. Guys, once again, I thank you. Once again, go to djbproductionsnetwork.com. Subscribe to the channel, share the channel, leave some comments, hit the notification bell. And for Kevin, for Matt, for Jason, for Jeff, my name is Danny J. Until next time, keep your cape in the wind. Keep your eyes to the stars.
All right,
Thank you,
good.
guys.